All right, so today we're going to be putting together a quick video about the newest chin mount that we've put together for the Airoh Commander. This is brand new to our lineup. It was requested on Instagram from one of our followers that has this helmet. Yeah, if you've got a helmet that you're looking to get a mount for, just let us know there and we'll get around to putting that together for you. So before I jump into this mount specifically, I'm just going to talk a little bit about chin mounts in general, why we decided to start manufacturing a line of these. Obviously you can see here we've got a lot of different chin mounts. So this one's for the Airoh XD4, this one's for the Fly F2, this one's for the Shoei Hornet, and I believe this one is for the Climb Cryos helmet. So you can see we've got a bunch of these. We've got about 40 in our store right now, including this one that's being added to our lineup, or at least will be very soon. One of the main reasons to run a chin mount is that it's the lowest point on the helmet. That gives you the best perspective. You can see, you know, there's probably 8 or 12 inches of difference if you were to mount the camera up here. And having that lower perspective allows you to get a better angle on the terrain and makes it actually look a little more lifelike rather than what everybody expects to see in a GoPro footage, which is the ground is completely flat and there's no terrain features. The other thing about it is that it's a real first-person perspective. So here it's center, and like a lot of people like to run the camera on the side of their helmet, which kind of gives you this off-center kind of view, whereas the chin mount is very much center of field of view, and it gives you this real first-person perspective. Also that it's attached to the helmet, it allows you to get this kind of gimbal effect as you're turning your head, because the head is probably the most stable part of the whole mechanism between the human and the bike. So you get this real kind of stable effect in addition to what you see through like the image stabilization that GoPro provides. This just adds to that. So another cool feature about chin mounting is that it's probably the most protected place. And not only in that you can see the camera when it's mounted there, but if you have the camera mounted to the side of the helmet or the top of the helmet, it's really prone to getting knocked by a branch or a bush or something like that. And like oftentimes, if it doesn't get knocked off completely, it'll be folded back and you don't know about it until you get back and you look at your footage and you're like, oh great, I got 3 hours of looking at the sky. Really makes for great content. The last thing is that when it's mounted here, you get great audio reception. Now we run Senas and all that stuff, and we're recording audio through a number of different ways. But if you're just going for simplicity and you mount the camera here, you get great audio reception because it's just right in front of your mouth, and the mics can pick up your voice really well. The cool thing about the mounts that we've been putting out there is that they are custom fit to the individual helmet. So this mount is only going to fit the Airoh Commander. It's not made for any other helmet. You can see there's some real, kind of curvatures here and contours and like little minute details that you can't really notice unless, you're measuring by the millimeter. But this mount is made specifically for this helmet. It's mounted to the helmet using 3M mounting tape. It's really sturdy. We engineer all of our mounts to hold at least 20 pounds, which, even if you take into consideration inertia, if you're going off a big jump and landing, like these mounts aren't going to fall off. They're really secure. And the 3M mounting tape is also waterproof. You don't really have to worry about it. Like you could wash your helmet out and not have to worry about the mount at all. It also, could arguably be called a hook if you wanted to mount it on the wall. Not quite in a place where I want to condone that because I don't do it personally and I don't know what's going to happen. So. But while I'm on the note of talking about the specifics of being mounted or designed for this helmet, one of the things about it is that we take into consideration the distance that the forks for the GoPro are from the helmet, and that's to accommodate the tilt back angle. So when you're riding, right, the top of the viewport here is going to be horizontal with the horizon, right? So when you're riding, especially when you're standing up, the helmet is tipped forward like this. And that means you need to be able to tip the camera back and it needs to be able to fit. And that's why we've created this extra distance between the helmet and where the camera mounts. So that way you can get this tilt back angle and get you can get the perfect angle. So one of the questions we get a lot is whether or not we can mount the camera upside down. And the answer is yes, you can. The reason like a lot of people have gotten in the habit of mounting cameras upside down is because in a lot of cases with a lot of mounts, what happens is the mount is so close to the helmet that you have to mount it upside down in order to get that horizontal view of the horizon. Now, you could argue that this is a better point of view because it's even lower than if you mount it upright. So you get the deeper kind of point of view and you get better perception on the terrain. The thing that I worry about in doing this is that the camera's more exposed, and if you look down, right, the camera could hit you in the chest, especially if you're wearing like a chest protector or something like that. And that could cause the camera to tilt up. I mean, obviously you could probably see it in that case, but it's just annoying to have to worry about the camera angle all the time. So for the most part, we recommend that you use our mounts as they were intended, to mount them upright. And you don't really have to worry about that camera angle unless you're trying to do something crazy like get a selfie video or something like that. I don't know. I mean, not to say you can't, but like, I mean, mounting it upright is what we designed it for. We're trying to make it so that it's mounted low and you can mount the camera upright. So one of the cool things about this helmet that I want to mention is that it's got a closable air vent here. And I just want to touch on this because it's like if you were to use like the cheap Amazon strap-on chin mount for GoPros on this thing, you'd basically be covering up this airport here. And a lot of helmets have this feature, especially with the more street-oriented ADV helmets. And it's kind of cool. Like our mount doesn't interfere with any vents or anything like that. Like we intentionally design all of our mounts around vents, and that's kind of a cool feature of having it be so helmet specific, is that it works with the original engineering and all the contours and features of your helmet. Bam. I just like doing that. I don't know. One of the things that we incorporated into the design was a reverse screw direction, and the reason that we did that was because the battery port on this side, you can see here how you have to pull down and open this up. And if you have the screw going in this way, it's really hard to like pull this down and open up the side battery door. We've incorporated the reverse screw direction to incorporate or to kind of work around that on the 8 and 9. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that with the media mod, they did make it so that they have this notch cut out on the bottom because they intended the screw direction to be from right to left, depending on which way you're looking at it. But if you use one of these longer kind of metal screws, you can get around it. It doesn't really matter. So one of the last things I want to touch on is the media mod. Now, our mounts are designed to incorporate the Hero 9 with the media mod and get the same tilt back angle so that you can record it. It's a really big camera as far as GoPro is concerned. I mean, this thing is enormous. And so, I mean, unless GoPro makes some bigger camera, I think we're going to be fine as far as the tilt back angle is concerned. But some people have questions about whether or not you can incorporate the media mod, and the answer is, yes, it works fine pretty much across the board for all of our mounts. All right, so the last thing about these mounts is that we've incorporated some tick marks here that you can see around the outside edge, and that's to allow you to kind of have a visual indicator of the tilt back angle. So you could look at that. That is one way to reference the tilt back angle if you want to use those. The other way would just be to look at the top of the eye port and mount the camera so that the vision is horizontal to that. But we have added those so that you could look at the mounting legs and just say, okay, I know that tick mark is where I want to set my camera angle. Please make us rich. All right, guys, so that concludes my thoughts on the mount for the Airoh Commander. If you want to buy this mount, if you have this helmet, check out the link in the description below. You'll see that. Also, you'll go to our store on our website where you will see all of the other wonderful mounts that we've created. If you like the videos that we're putting out there, like and subscribe to this video. It really helps us out. Also check us out on Instagram. All of our videos are pretty much being filmed with these mounts at this point, especially our ride footage. So if you want to get a feel for like what the perspective is, check those out. We'll catch you next time.